todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a todos, mi nombre es Forrest. Escondí un tesoro y lo escondí muy bien. Hola a
Well, come
todos,
on,
mi
don't play
nombre.
it again. Four aces and a joker. More like 9 jokers. There's only 2 jokers in each deck. There's the one on the bicycle, and then the one with the there's one with the bicycle information and just a smaller guy on a bike. There he is. Let's see, got all the guarantee card. So it says 4 cards and a joker. The joker is also a card. Why didn't it's 5 cards? It's not. The joker is one of the 5 cards. So 4 cards and a joker. Forrest Fenn's the joker. There's some kind of trick he's pulling in the whole ordeal. And another thing he said, it'd be somebody that's confident, that would move with confidence. And when you see that person that moves with confidence, you're all trying to, knock that confidence off. And a real confident person, no matter how much poop you throw at them, they're going to continue on like I'm doing. We're not gonna tolerate. You can't shoot down the guy that's confident. If you do, we'll bail out and we'll be back. you know, they tried to shoot Forrest down twice. He keeps going, doesn't he? Or they tried to shoot. They tried to take him out with cancer too. That didn't work either. None of it's. Some of us are just indestructible. Forrest is indestructible. He's a tough old guy. Yeah, my favorite story I like of his. One of the favorite stories I like is, I think it was Duluth. He was landing up in Duluth, and I guess barely making it in there on his fuel, and skidded in, come in backwards, and used the afterburners for brakes, going backwards, stopping before hitting the hangar. What a hairy ride! It's one of those rides you go, wow, I'm lucky. My tea is boiling over and getting the burners. Where's my cup? There's my cup. Where's the spoon? The spoon is over there. And I'm going to grab a cup of tea quick here. You look at my pictures. But also, I watched that weekend update again, and, you know, it's like they have to put an effort in to ignore Bill Gorman. Ignore Bill Gorman. One little snark remark in the end, but, you know, at least the commenters, the chat room doesn't forget me. They got several people commenting positive about me in the chat room. Yet the guy running the show has zero respect for the fanatic, you know. It was my at this I got neuropathy in my feet, and I use this one of these. This is just a pool noodle thing, and I roll my foot on it. You know, it helps. It like circulates the blood in the feet and whatever. You know, just rolling it under your foot. Trying to get those nerves to work better. Yeah, Forrest. You know, 4 cards and a joker. Yeah, the joker's not a card too. It's not the 5th card. It's just a joker. He's the joker, and the joke's on you. You know, he's using all us treasure hunters and stuff, looking for, looking for the treasure. It's his form of entertainment. I think there was a movie where some old guy was going to give his estate to what the person who entertained him the most, you know, or something. It could be something like, I don't know, because he has to give you a title, so you're not going to get it, and you have to grab it from his cold dead hands, you know. He's not giving it up like Charlton Heston, from my cold dead hands, you know. He covets things. He covets the treasure. It's not, you can't have it until he's dead. He's going to keep it at least till he's, you know, dead. It's not going to be given up until after that. That's one reason he doesn't, you know, feel that he'll meet the person that finds it. Except he maybe already has. Well, that's some hot tea. Whew. It's good tea. A little mint flavor in there. I just did some videos for another show. You keep your eyes open. Yeah, it'll be later this week. Open up. A lot of people treat the Joker as taboo. Well, yeah, they treat me as taboo. Forrest didn't. Not everything was easy for, you know. He ran into a lot of criticism and stuff. You know, he was selling replica paintings. You know, like they're painted like the original artists. Some people that have mimicked the original artist and are able to paint like and make copies of like the Mona Lisa or, you know, Van Goghs and stuff. People know how to make copies and make perfect copies, and you know, they don't sell for millions like the original, but they do fetch you good because they are a high quality painting and it's a high quality reproduction. So, you know, as long as you're disclosing that this is a copy, there shouldn't be any problem. there's no copyright on the painting itself. The artist has been dead for over 75 years. Uh, I had like I've republished books that were done by my ancestors, and you're allowed to do that as long as the original author has been dead for 75 years. So if you find a really cool book from the 1800s, uh, or even early 1900s, you can you can republish that book and put your copyright on it. But and when you republish it, you republish the original content, and you add in your forward and maybe some notations throughout the book, and a little stuff at the some things at the end of the book, you know newer history of it and what maybe and stuff, and then you've got original content in there too, so you slap your copyright on it. Page 99. Let's talk about page 99. 99. That's the good picture. It's him dropping napalm on the. That's got to be. See, he's already on the ground because he didn't hit those guns. He called his. He showed his. He lit it up with his 50 caliber. Or with his machine gun, whatever it is, 50, 60 caliber. um, Lit up the target with that, and then his partner come in, his wingman come in and took out the target, maybe with the napalm. He might have been dropping it in that valley, I don't know. But this is somewhat like the valley where the treasure is, except it doesn't show, shows palm trees instead of pine trees. They're substitutes. The pine trees are substitutes for palm trees. They're trees. You playing with words and altering a word. What else does the word mean? It's like wood and Eric Sloan, and they got the wood grains, and even there's no wood grains on those. But I thought there was some pictures in here with wood grains. Maybe it was in Eric Sloan's book. I thought there were some picture frames of wood. But that's the other thing. Art is in wood picture frames. And he was an art dealer more recently than he was a boy fishing. He spent most of his life trying to be where he could go search for those ancient artifacts, like the arrowhead. Fire, Vietnamese cross country. Never mind, these important things were to me at the time. They later added up too big empty. Okay, and like the other thing, like he says when he went to the waterfall, you fly over it and it's really impressive. And maybe when he got there, it wasn't as impressive. And there were hundreds of French graves there, right? Now this my site. There's 300 dead Frenchmen. So that's a subtle hint. Not the Vietnam part. The subtle part is the French graves. The subtle part is the um, oh, the subtle part is the biddies in the brick house. I'll huff it, I'll puff it, I'll blow your head. It didn't work. It's, so they weren't meek. They were some tough old bags. I'm going to get criticism for calling them bags, aren't I? Yeah. So, Forrest, Fenn, fly. Yeah, yeah. That's the other thing. They are. If you look up who's a Saturday Evening Post guy again? The Rockwell. Okay, the Rockwell. And there's search for Rockwell mirrors. And you find all these pictures. Rockwell used mirrors to do a lot of his drawings. So they're all mirrored images. They're backwards, like George Washington. It's all backwards. It's smoke in mirrors. And there's a lot of smoke and a lot of mirrors in the chase. There's a lot of backward stuff. And he was inverted. When Okay, like another backward example, smoke the mirror thing. Okay, when you're traveling on your vacation with mom and dad in the car going down the highway, and the kids are in the back pulling shapes out of the clouds. Oh, that one's a bunny rabbit. That one's an elephant. That one's a crocodile. Well, that one looks like a bird. Well, when you're in the airplane looking down, you see shapes too. And so it's just a mirror. It's the opposite of you in your car looking at the clouds. The guy in the clouds is looking down at the ground and seeing stuff. And part of my area is like the Nazca of the Rocky Mountains. There's an elk or a deer with a bunch of antlers on it, and then the antler you rotate it, and then the antlers is an Indian head with a big fat feather on it. It's like he's got a ostrich feather out of his back top of his head. And that's what I've got in my one hat that my oldest hat. It's a Barma from Australia. It's a leather buffalo hat, and I got because my ancestors, Robert Rogers, and he wore an ostrich feather in his hat, and people asked him why he wore an ostrich feather in his hat. It's to be different, to not be like everybody else, just to be different and have some character. And that's one thing a lot of people lack is character. I don't understand this younger generation that they have no interest in what you had to say, and their only comments are rude and disgusting and something that you shoot back at, trying to stir up trouble, trying to be a thorn in your side, and just a lot of disrespectful little twits out there. I think I mentioned a twit in some other thing. Yeah, I don't know. And, people that I had respect for, they pop up on a show somewhere and their comments are like, oh, that's why you pay no attention to me. I see. I see exactly what you're like. You know, it's hard to hide ugliness. It's hard to cover it up, unless you own stock in CoverGirl, and you put that cake on, I gotta turn down my tea here. It's boiling too much. It just needs to simmer. There. Save my fuel. I can get my my RV propane tank will last me 3, sometimes 4 months, but it costs like $60 to fill it. It's like 3 or 4 times bigger than the 30-pound bottle. So, yeah, page 99 is a big one. And page numbers are, well, that's one of the things in the book that might be referenced. Like, some page numbers can be other numbers referenced on the map or on the road or whatever. I'm trying to avoid even direct. You notice that I, I don't. I'm not going to hand you the answers. I'll give you something more to think about to help you find the answers, hint you in. But I'm not going to help somebody that can't figure out one clue on their own. You know, if you're going totally on what other people are telling you, it's not your solution. People don't think for themselves. They need leaders, and most often they pick the wrong leaders. um, uh, I'm from a place out west, and and a lot of people east of there don't understand some of the smart people that come from the west. That people say, "Oh, you're originally from California. You must be a liberal." No, no, I'm not in California, am I? I haven't lived in California since the '90s, and that was after 10 years away from there, and went back there. And every time you go to California, you get. I mean, they have the most harassing cops anywhere in the country there. You go to California, you better behave because they're not nice. They're not nice when you get stopped. I mean, you get stopped. I've had cops plant marijuana behind my car, and it wasn't mine. I admit, I have, but it wasn't mine. I had never seen it before, and there's nothing you can do about it unless you got a video of that cop stuffing it back there. So, yeah, and especially my hometown, don't ever go back there. That city, if they got you when you're a kid, they'll harass you your whole life. Get the hell out of there. Get away from those people. And since I've had no trouble in any other state. That California state, it's just a bunch of run by Nazis. They really are democratic socialists. That's what Hitler was, a democratic socialist. So I don't go for that kind of stuff. I'm for freedom and rights, personal rights. And I'm not for the right of the government. Doesn't have any right to take kids. And I mean, they messed with me in California for 35 years over my kid, and took my license when my son was 35 years old. And that's not right. Oh well, there was a statute of limitations. The statute of limitations ran out in 10 years, and then they changed it to 20 years, and then they changed it to 25 years, and then they changed it to 35 years, and it's like you can't add on to this stuff. That's ex post facto. It's called making laws after the fact. You can't be charged. They can't make a new law to charge you for something in the past. And they're the most corrupt criminal bastards you can find running government, especially when it comes to being assholes to men, you know. And and one thing they came after me when I was living in Colorado, and to take my driver's license in Colorado, and at the time my son was living with me. He was like 16, you know. He was living with me and going to high school in Colorado. His mother's in California, and California tried to come after me for my Colorado license. And I filed an appeal with the Colorado DMV. And I went down there and said, look, my son is attending high school here in Colorado. And they gave me my driver's license. They told California to go jump on a lake. And, and I really don't like that criminals. That criminal government is what it is, you know. I was visiting from Colorado, driving through Capitola, and a cop on a motorcycle by the sidewalk saw a little crack in my windshield, and he had to come and give me a ticket. And I said, I don't live in California. I've left your state, you know. Oh, we don't give a shit. We're going to still charge you a fine. And, you know, it's just a bunch of Nazis, a bunch of pighead bastards. And there's a lot of asshole judges out there that are not fair at all. I look at it, treat that person like you would your brother or your sister, your mother, your father, with respect, because they're treating people like, yo, you're just a piece of dirt. And that's how I'm going to treat you. They don't treat you with fairness at all in court. And a lot of it's all about collecting money for the county, the city, the state. The government is the mafia. Okay, enough of that, because they just piss me off. Anytime it involves government, it's something to piss you off. Oh yeah, in the comment, I've been trying to ask Forrest what I've said what kind of. I sent him this question like 6 months ago. If you could fly one of the modern aircraft, which one would you like to fly? Yeah, and now he's got this new thing on Jenny's page, and Jenny's never given me any respect. I'll say that now. I haven't said anything about her before. I've been nice and everything, but I've gotten no respect from her. I send in the comments that Forrest sends me. Some of them very important. Like, if I was still in the art business, I would like to carry. I would like to handle your art. Now that's an important. That's telling people that he knows what's in my pit. He knows what's in those pictures. The things that you can't see, Forrest can see. And that's a discredit to my discreditors. That's a big discredit to my discreditors. It just says you people are blind. Forrest can see it. If Forrest can see it, then you better pay attention to it, or you should pay attention to it. If you don't pay attention to it, then you weren't. You're not playing the Joker. It's all money and quotas. I don't know about that's the people accuse me of trying to be famous and these same people are doing exactly what they're trying to accuse me of. And what do I call them? The gypsy kissers. And boy, that's one thing. The guy that I never seen a browner nose than I did on that show last night. I was just like, oh Jesus, yeah. He kissed Toby's butt. He kissed Sean's butt. He kissed Sean's butt real hard. you know, I don't watch anything that he doesn't Oh, I only watch what you review. If you don't review it, it ain't worth watching. That guy just told me his videos aren't worth watching, and they aren't. I mean, I I've searched more this year than these people searched their entire search career. I searched more in January than most of them. January, I was searching 3, 4 times a week. So I got in a dozen searches in January. And there are vloggers out here trying to tell you that I don't know what I'm doing when they've only searched once. They're going out there expecting to be able to go straight to it. And some of them expect that I should, since if I know where the home of Broward is, I could go straight to it. And they just don't understand that Forrest was pulling that guy's leg when oh, well, if you know where the home of Brown is, you can go straight to it then, if I told you where that is. And they believe that. That's one of the 15%. 85% of the time he's telling the truth. 15% is not the truth. Susie, you got it backwards. It's not 85% untrue and 15% true. It's 85% truth, 15% not true. It's mostly true. People exaggerate some things. I'm a person that I don't exaggerate much, you know. And there's the other thing about the decoys. Forrest Fenn doesn't place decoys out there, but there are lots and lots of natural decoys. Look at all the people who have posted videos of a square rock in the creek, and I've got rocks that are saved and positioned like it would be and you take the picture from quarter mile away or whatever with a big telephoto lens, and it looks like it's there, and you get there and it's not there. That's one reason I got a better camera, and now I can see better, and so it's a little harder to fool me with natural decoys. We'll call them. They're not. I've called them decoys, and I never said that Forrest put decoys there, but there are, because these are sculpture things and stuff. I got the Forrest Fenn eating the pie by the tree symbol carved in rock, except it's Forrest Fenn holding a box instead of a pie. And it looks like a Pillsbury Doughboy curled up in that corner, a little chunkier than the fort, but the legs and all that of the carved figure in there it's the same position as in the drawing in the book. And uh, tired and weak. The area that's tired and weak is also in my solve is also the Spanish toy factory area, and it's the schoolhouse area. And from there, the way I found the Forrest Fenn riding I call it a dodo bird sometimes. Major Fenn, is that you flying a dodo bird? Fishing? Trolling for fish? He's got fishing pole on the hook, and he's laying on top of a bird, hanging on the back of the neck of the bird. Um, but yeah, and there was a decoy. It's a natural decoy. I got pictures of rock, and I got that one picture I got, was it a year and a half ago? And it was in the creek, and it's just reflecting this golden glow, because of rippling water, and it's flickering gold, and everything else is like in the shade and stuff. But I couldn't even tell where light was coming in to light that up. And it was almost like there was a projector putting golden light on the water there. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's Look down, it's a reflection coming off of something beyond. From where I was, I got to look at that approach. That it was a reflection of something on the hill on the other side, maybe bouncing off the creek and coming at me. Because I went out there and I looked and there was nothing there, just rocks. Let's see what have we got for questions. Mine starts above 5,000 and goes over 8,000 feet. He said the treasure is between 5 and 10.2, but he never said that the treasure route doesn't leave those limits. It can leave those limits and come back. It can start outside those limits. The treasure itself is between those elevations. The poem can cross those lines. So he's not lying when he says the treasure is between this elevation and that elevation, yet the poem exceeds that elevation. Because it's about Lewis and Clark are a clue, and their mission was to find the Northwest Passage to cross the Great Divide, to find a route to the Pacific Ocean. And so, if you're living in Texas and you want to find a route to the Pacific Ocean, one of those routes that you would take, and usually they took waterways. And boy, I'm saying I'm getting out some good information, and the crowd just shrugged. It's like, wow, because you know they're so tied up with one. They got one piece of the one or two pieces maybe that they think they have locked in, and so they ignore somebody that has 40 plus pieces. You know, somebody with, I got the whole deck. I even got the print order card, printed in the USA standard. And they're printed by Bicycle Card Company. You can find these on, I have some different, these are the best ones, I think. These were the newest design I had on the cards. I have some ugly designs too, but these were the best ones. And even if you look on his airplane, will it focus? No. Just put some more for it to focus on. But on his airplane, it says, I changed the numbers on the airplane. So it says Fenn. Yeah. So, because we don't know what the number was on his plane, so I just put one on there that says Fenn. He might have given it. He had a couple of them wrecked. And I got one picture with the pile of airplanes, and that's one of the things I think he altered. He might have most of this stuff is ancient stuff. But some of it, like where it's like a pile of his wrecked airplanes, all black, burned up, and there's cockpits in the trainer T6 like plane. There's even a human figure sitting in the cockpit, and that's something like a petroglyph where the rock was like vitrified black from some type of catastrophic event, or the natives burned it in, or maybe it's from water flowing over it and doing some type of natural process to color the rock. But I find a lot of vitrified rock around here that indicates that around the time of the Younger Dryas, when the comet, meteor, whatever, the thing that started the end of the ice age and melted the ice caps, took out a big chunk of it up in Ontario or whatever. But other chunks hit. That was the big one up there. But there were other places all around North America, North America and stuff got hit the hardest, and that killed it, wiped out Atlantis maybe. So, because there's places in South America and Central America, and I found evidence even right here and up there that's something. There was a big heat event. Except I do have some art. It looks like the Indians had some type of way of magnifying the heat of the sun to burn designs into the rock and do this vitrification themselves. And they say when they made the Clovis points, the arrowheads, they would heat treat, put them in a fire, heat treat those rocks, and it made it easier to chip them to make their arrowheads by heating them up to a certain amount. And I was worried. I found this the intersection of two waterways. The location. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah, there could, but the conjunction of two waterways could be an unnamed creek with another unnamed creek. But it goes. There's more than one waterway involved. I'll tell you, there's at least. As far as names or unnamed, there are unnamed and named, but there are, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 named waterways, and maybe 2 or 3 unnamed waterways in the course. And there's some more unnamed waterways that might be involved that are tied in. It could be because we don't know from once you hit the end of the poem and you go down, it's somewhere in this, 10-mile area that where all these symbols are. One of these symbols points to it. I don't believe that it's by the gypsy symbols, because that is private property by a major corporation with the money to pay security guards, and there's no trespassing there unless you're a guest of the property or whatever. And then you can't go wandering on to the other properties in that. There's several private lots on that private area. So, let's see what I got here for. I did some. I thought I saved those. Huh. I saved them. And no, it's not under that. Oh, I made some it was the screenshots I made on my phone. I don't know how I'd show you those. Unless I plug my phone into my computer and get the file over to the computer, or open it on the computer off of the phone. Yeah. There it is. Phone. And because I'm trying to get to the nicer comments that were on that Rude Guy's show. I mean, ignoring people is as bad as mentioning them and calling them assholes. Somebody that's you discrediting somebody by ignoring them and leaving them out of the and you're discrediting yourself because you say that it's about the searcher, and no, it's about the program. It's about the program and the agenda of the program. It's not about the searcher. Uh, and that poor guy from Italy, yeah, Massimo. If you get a hold of me, I'll show you my my solution area and show you some amazing stuff. I tried looking you up, but that's a common name in Italy. I don't know what if you're on Facebook or whatever. But, and I try and hook up with some of these other vloggers that do, I'm trying to be nice to, and oh, he's Bill Gorman. If I talk to Bill Gorman, I won't be allowed on the Gypsy show, you know? Yeah, if I don't kiss Sean's ass, I won't be allowed on Sean's show, you know. So, and I've gotten comments from people thanking me and appreciating somebody that stands up for themselves and fights against these, what are they, solution Nazis. It's their solution or it's nothing. And especially everybody knows that Colorado is, they discriminate, they boom. I mean, they talk about somebody discriminating against some transgender going into what bathroom and all that. And, and these people discriminate against the whole state of Colorado. Solution Nazis. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Yeah, they can't override their own confirmation, their own bias. They're totally biased. They claim they aren't. See, my show isn't about the weekend. What are the other people? Who's doing I'm bringing up they're bringing up the goody two shoes, kiss my ass stuff. I'm bringing up the hey, you're being ignorant and you're being rude by ignoring people. You're ignoring people. That's extremely rude. That's like having a business meeting and you tell all the employees they got to attend, but certain employees aren't allowed to have a voice in the meeting. Their opinions don't matter. Their opinions don't count. They are sub-citizens. They are not part of our community. They are our enemy, and so we will not listen to them. And really, I haven't watched several of their shows because it's just a bunch of horse poop. You see, I got Anubis over here now. There's Anubis right there. He's right here. This is his scepter. All animals are created equal. Yeah. Well, you mean those pigs? How can pigs compare with an elephant? Elephants sit on a pig and all its entrails would shoot right out of them. An elephant carries much more weight. An elephant is a heavy load. And that's the thing. These people came up the river. They came up the river and they, as far as they could with their canoes, and the mammoth Sherpas would help the people out of their canoes, load their stuffs on the elephants, probably take some food or something in trade. there's not a lot of fruit trees and stuff up in the mountains and stuff. And so these people travel in their canoes. They knew, to pay these mammoth Sherpas to carry them over the mountains, they would need to bring them some grain, some corn, some meat, something. Bring something to pay to haul them over the mountain to the other river. It, and people that don't know history don't know that's totally Lewis and Clark crap, except 13,000 years ago. Can't all you can get. So Adrian George. All the animals are created equal. Yeah, my old Jack this morning. Yeah, I put him out on. I keep him on the leash and on the runner. He's got about 50 plus 15, 65 feet of running that he can. He's got a big area. He can go anywhere around the RV on his runner and slider thing. And I'm looking for those files still. No. Where is it? Screenshots there. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So one of the comments I saw on there was somebody said, I would love to see a Today Show with Bill. Well, I think 1998. There's me and Al at John Glenn Space Shuttle launch in Florida in October 20th of 1998. See, my hair wasn't gray then. I was only 40. Only 40. And a lot of these searchers aren't even 30. So, Chrome. We call it Chrome. We don't say the G word. The G word. Okay. So that was one thing somebody said. See all my wires, man. It's an electrical mess. Just turn around. And so, yeah, where's the rest of them? I'm getting to them. Trying to read the comments from the... And... And Charles Beatles. I would love to see a Today Show with Bill Gorman. Okay, that's one I already read. So yeah, at least he's not deleting people who mention me, like some of them. Jimmy Fast. Yeah, there's the little gypsy clubhouse, the gypsy Brady Bunch gang. And then totally not Mitzi. I kind of want Bill to find it. That would be awesome. Yeah, I think it would be awesome too, Mitzi. Totally not Mitzi. Okay, so not Mitzi. Mitzi, let's make a deal. Who's gonna make a deal? Gray, laughing. Yeah, my dog, my parrot is gray. My dog is red. My shirt is brown. This is a Eddie Bauer shirt that I got like 5 years ago. It's holding up good. This has, I mean, I wish when you ordered shirts from Zazzle, the print lasted for 5 years. Some of them last pretty good. Some of them, it's like, man, he did something different. What they got to do is have it so it's so hot it melts all the way into the fabric or something, or have something that kind of applies the ink wet, or print it right on the shirt, right, so that it soaks in. Jimmy Fast. Yeah, Jimmy Fast was. We showed his comment the other day. I don't see others. Yeah, I think I read all those comments. There was like three of them. Rob G said Bill Gorman has it. I don't have it. I'm on to the right area, and the people that say, "Oh, just go there and get it," you don't just go there and get it. You go there and look, and you hope that you can get it, but you're not going to find it until you've at least reached the point that you realize that you don't expect to find it on your search. You'd like to find it, but you don't really anymore expect to, because you go out there expecting every time, and it's like you know that it's not every search is the miracle, and one search will be, and it's not going to be a search you go out expecting to find it. You're going to go out expecting that, well, probably going out there again for nothing, and hopefully it'll be there. And then there's still in the mind that this was all a contest to find this trove of art and nature, and he who does the best job of it before Forrest dies will end up with it, the treasure. They finding the trove gets you the treasure. And so that in that way, going to the Homer Brown, that would find you the first piece of the trove, the gypsies. Maybe it could be the gypsies. It could be the rope of kids, because if you're taking it from where warm waters halt, you go past the rope of kids before you get to the gypsies, but you go past the rope of kids after the gypsies. You kind of pass it, taking it in the canyon down, and then heading from the Homer Brown up to Nova. You can see it from both places. The kids on the rope, they're either side of the gypsies. And the kids on the rope is telling you. He's telling it says, "Do not touch, do not touch." In that chapter, Teachers with Ropes, and it's in red and bold, and he's telling you don't damage the artifacts you find. It's not hidden in these artifacts. These artifacts were created 14,000 years ago. And you're just destroying a marvelous piece of history if you do. So don't go breaking the art. Touch it. And I do. I go up and touch them, and I wear my elephants on my hat and stuff. And so that if there are, spirits that are aware and seeing this guy walking around there, there's somebody with an elephant. They recognize us. You see, it's these. I'm able to see this ancient history and honor these people and recognize that they are there and what they have done. And my discreditors are unable to see it and are ignoring these ancient people the same as they ignore me, you know? And when you, I tell you, see, I don't ignore them. If they're ignoring me, then I'm going to bring them up. I'll keep bringing them up. As long as they keep being ignorant. And the reason I bring them up and I curse them out is because of their ignorance and their ignorance to me and myself. Their total ignorance to Colorado is another thing. They know nothing of Colorado history. I mean, I didn't know as much about Colorado until I lived in Colorado. And I first moved to Colorado in 1989. And I was there till 97. And that's when I went to California to take care of a problem they started when I went there on vacation, you know, and and tried to accuse me of still living in California and going to Colorado just to get, you know. No, that wasn't the deal. I was living in Colorado, and as judges and pieces of shit in California, you know, frickin' Nazis. I don't even like going, you know, I went to Quartzsite and then I wanted to go to Vegas and I looked up on the map, how do I get to Vegas from Quartzsite without entering California? And I found a way. So I saw some really neat stuff there where like a wash had washed over the road. And if you ever drove through like the Sierras, and there's a wall of snow on either side of the road, you know, from the snowplow going through. Well, there was a wall of mud, rock, what was dried mud and rocks from a mud flow that had gone through, and they had to dig out back down to the road to. I mean, it probably would have been easier just throw some new pavement on top of the mudslide, or you know, put pilings in and put a causeway, an elevated causeway across there, so the next mud flow goes underneath, and leave plenty, you know, elevated an extra 20 feet maybe to allow for more mud flows, and then maybe even. Make those pillars extendable so they could jack it up even higher, or they could then after that put new pillars next to it and move the roadways over to the new pillars. You know, if it got higher or something like that, or if it was approaching getting higher, they could just jack it up higher and leave them other posts downstream. Or Highway 9, Kingsman, Arizona, else all the way. Yeah, no, I went up and I went through McLaughlin, I guess, and across the river there, and then I came into Vegas from the south. I didn't go over the Hoover Dam route. I set my phone back down. I'm holding it with my hand. Oh, I'm plugging my other power. So I read my messages that I wanted to read. I plugged in. It says my battery's down to 11%, but when I plug in the cord, my battery shows it's 100%. You know, it's like, but then it says, and I noticed Verizon, if you're using a lot of data, they do this low battery, you know. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I should probably end it soon because I'm at an hour. I don't want to make them too long. The one thing, the people that check out and don't watch the whole show, they they miss some clues because they can pop up anywhere in that time I'm on. But I'll keep this in an hour, and I gotta see the next update. That's gonna because that won't be on just my channel this week. And maybe Lou, some people don't. You kind of inherit an accent from your parents, and my parents came from two different places, so I kind of got a mix of both. I'm trying to get this. Why isn't this charging? This stupid phone. Because Verizon is telling the phone, don't charge, don't charge. Slow charge, slow charge. You put the best cable, the best charger on, still slow charge. They control it. And what it is, they have a new Galaxy S9, and I have an S7. And they want you to go upgrade to that S9 and create more waste to throw in the landfills. So, yeah. You ever think about when the old days when they had the glass bottles, you buy a bottle of Coke and there's 5 cents worth of Coke in there. But how about the energy it took to melt the glass to make that bottle? I mean, the bottle had to be more than the content. No, I'm a guest on a show for smart people. It's not for the ignorant. So, and, and it took people from my home state to see to understand somebody. They understand the locals, and Texans, Californians don't understand each other. I lived in Texas for 5 years, about 5 years, something like that, and I got to understand Texas, and first time I went to Texas to go to the barmaid, and you're just talking to the barmaid and whatever. And her boyfriend comes over and hey, don't talk to her. It's like, dude, I'm just, chatting. There's nothing happening here. And the guy wants to start a fight. It's like, there ain't nothing happening, dude. Relax, you know? And I had gone over to the hotel I worked at, Dunphy Hotel. I was an electrician, maintenance electrician at the hotel, and I, I'd like at that time, I'd like to go out and have a couple drinks or whatever, and dance a little bit. And I went to the hotel, and uh, I didn't. Woman asked me to dance. I said okay, and as I dancing and stuff, and next day I was fired because I was dancing with the bar manager's girlfriend. I didn't know she was the barman. She didn't tell me she was the bar manager's girlfriend. You know, she asked me to dance. You know, I wasn't harassing anybody there or anything. It was just a jealousy thing. Heck with them. I don't think I've ever seen that either of them anymore again. And, and then I guess some guy had been locked out of his room for not paying the bill. And that guy went and he lit a linen closet on fire next to an elevator shaft and burned up. Yeah, I mean, he lit the fire on the bottom floor, but the fire went up the elevator shaft and toasted the whole top floor and part of the second. There's 3 floors, toasted that building. And they used me because I had a nice camera. I had a Nikon, so they used me to take all their insurance pictures, go through the place, just take pictures of everything. And so I did, and got them printed and turned them in and got reimbursed. And then a week later, I'm fired for dancing with the bar manager's girlfriend. And it's like, so what? So I went to work I was an electrician, so I went to work working on some condo project and training a female apprentice. You know, I didn't have any problem working with her. Halloween, she came in her Bam Bam costume to work. That was some fun days. But then I left that job because I had applied at GTE Sprint in Central Region Engineering because I had some microwave background and I knew how to read maps from being topo maps from being a Boy Scout and reading topo maps and stuff. And they made me a microwave path engineer, and I would pick sites on the topo map that were high in elevation and where my tower would not interfere with other systems, and I ran an analysis. I put the two towers and the two locations, put the coordinates in, and tell it what frequencies I want to run, and then it runs a database. I spent $3,000 a day on database and run analysis to build the systems. And it'd tell me if I'd interfere with any other systems, and I'd have to move the tower or look at the antenna patterns and change antennas and so on. And we put that up them big 10-foot horns, UHXs and horns and Andrews and Gabriels, and I knew how to read the antenna patterns and the radiation patterns, and when you know how to read that, you see people getting all upset about, oh, the microwave tower, it's cooking my brain. And a microwave tower is running 4 or 5 watts, and then they got at home their microwave oven running at 1,500 watts, and they're worried about the microwave tower. It's like, okay, yeah, and I see a lot of stuff about this. Oh, 5G is going to come out and fry our brains, blah 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 blah. The 5G, they got to put more towers because the signal doesn't get out as far, it's not as strong, and so you need more towers. If it was a strong signal, it would go further. The Also, the higher the frequency, the less distance it travels. Our 6 gigahertz systems, we would go 20 to 25 miles. Our 18 gigahertz systems, we tried to keep it 10, 12 miles. These 18 gigahertz doesn't has more rain fading because we had to do all this, and we had to do like rain fading in a rainstorm. How much is a signal going to degrade over this terrain? The terrain affects the signal area. So, and I had to fix systems where guys tried to put two towers on either side of a mountain. There'd be a mountain, and they have to. Here's our mountain. They put an antenna on either side when they need to be up here. And those are not my middle fingers. Yeah. So yeah, okay, I'm done. Oh, I got a message from. Let's see what that is, just for fun. Ay 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 ay. I don't know if I want to answer. Yeah, I have. one of my co-conspirators wanted to know if I have coordinates, and uh, yeah. My exact my total. I getting people close, but just like Forrest Fenn, I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is. I'll hint to get close. I'm not telling anybody exactly where it is. Uh, and I don't, I have a ballpark area. And the one thing, I got 1,000 foot rule too, So some people, 500, 200 feet. The 500 foot, 200 foot, that can be somebody just driving by to get to the other location that they told Forrest they were at. They said, I was here and I was here. And, and Forrest knows to get from point A to point B, they went past the treasure. They weren't even looking in the spot. They didn't even know to look in that spot. They don't know what the clues are that tie to that spot. I do. And there's the hand with the bell at that spot. It's 10,000 square feet. Yeah, 500 by 2. Uh, but that's only it's a 200 foot radius, kind of, so or a 500 foot radius. A 500 foot radius is more than 10,000 square feet, I think. Definitely. Definitely more than 10,000 square feet. Uh, and and this stuff is 14. Forrest said he wanted some place that he knew would be there for that long. Well, he knows this stuff has been there longer than that already, and so his stuff should survive there. And if that stuff's been sitting there right in plain sight for that long, treasure should be safe, pretty safe. But I can't find it anymore. But I am absolutely positive, certain one of the interviews or something, Forrest said the treasure chest has been covered by a natural process. And imagine there's a log, you put it under the log, and 2, 3 years later, that log has been eaten by termites and just disintegrated and covered the chest. So you have like a bunch of tan bark with a chest under it and stuff. Or it could be under a rock. But when he says you guys can see it within 12 feet, I can't imagine how. That leads me to the trove idea and the stuff on the wall, because if the chest had been covered by a natural process, and is the treasure, or did he say the chest or the treasure was covered by a natural? I can't remember which one but it was covered by a natural process. And if the trove of art on the canyon walls is the treasure that he speaks of, the ancient treasures, and the pyramids are known. That's a good one.